Today I fucked up by hooking up with a straight guy. Yesterday I, 25m, was very horny. Since I live in a small rural town in Brazil, it's very hard to find a hookup. No one on Grindr was responding, around 15 people in the whole city. So I went on a live chat for Meetup called Bate Papo UOL. There, I texted a guy who the username was Pass, Portuguese short for bottom. He is 35y, married with children, tall and good looking. He said that would pay for the motel and I offered to pick him up in my car for us to go there. I offered to split the motel, but he insisted on paying. We talked on the way, and he is a very cool guy, until we reached the motel entrance. He was very afraid of being seen entering and wanted to hide, afraid of the small town talk about him that could happen. It was strange and funny, so I went with it. He said to me that we should pick up the room with a pool and hot tub. In the room, I soon realized it was going to be a very different hookup. He immediately put straight porn and started talking how he loves women. From there, he started talking what he would do if he was a woman and started wearing his shorts and shirt like the girls he was showing on TikTok. If I'm interested in just sex, I usually just fuck and go home. But the guy was really nice and asked if we could enjoy the room and chat. At that time, it was clear to me that I was the first guy he ever got out. We kept going back and forth between the pool and hot tub. He was like a silly young guy exploring the motel room. Every time I touched him, he would immediately talk about the straight couple in the porn he put on TV. I then talked a bit about how he feels about what I was doing and what he wanted from our meeting, since he was very nervous, and it was very obvious that it was his first time with a guy. He denied that was his first time and made clear he wanted to bottom since he could not get hard. He also did not want to kiss or get a blowjob, but didn't elaborate why, but I wanted to respect and keep him comfortable. I'm a top and I love kissing and giving head. So I was very sad for me to only go fucking without a little cuddle and foreplay. Long story short, we chat and kept between the pool and hot tub for 3 hours. He talked a lot about how he would like to be a woman in another life and all the things he would do to men if he had a vagina. I didn't realize until later that he used the water jet from the hot tub as a nice feeling in his ass for a long time. He then wanted to have sex in a specific way. He wanted to mimic the girl in the porn while I imitate the guy. He wanted to use soap as lube. Thank God I managed to convince him to use the lube I brought. Everything was fine until the cowgirl position. Alert if you have a weak stomach. All the water from the tub jet and the dinner from the day before came down in my crotch. Less than. He was very ashamed. I comforted him since I was not the first time that happened, it was the first in that magnitude. We cleaned ourselves, then he asked me to cum in his mouth on the shower. It took some time, for obvious reasons, but I did it. He then discovered that he hated the taste of cum. I don't blame him. Then he said to me that it was his first time and thanked me for my patience with him. He gave me his card and security number. I specifically asked not to, but he was very firm on it and wanted to hide from the motel staff. I paid with his card as he hid on the back of the car. I left him near his home and got back to mine. It was very nice to enjoy the pool and hot tub. He is an amazing guy and very nice. It was clear that he has a lot of issues about being with another guy and his desires. But as cool as some moments were, I'm not the right guy for a guy first time, especially someone who is straight and married. Too long did not read. I, 25 male, went out with a straight, married guy. It was his first time, he was nervous. He used the hot tub pool jet as stimulant for his ass, which came down on me later with his dinner on my crotch, less than while he rides me. At the end it was nice because he was such a cool guy, but I'm never going out with a straight guy or for a guy first time. Just for clarification, a motel in Brazil is very different from a motel in the US. It's more like the love hotels they have in Japan. Usually you pay for 4 hours and you have hot tubs and vibrating beds in the room. It's very common in Brazil. He started talking what he would do if he was a woman. He talked a lot about how he would like to be a woman in another life and all the things he would do to men if he had a vagina. He wanted to mimic the girl in the porn while I imitate the guy. And #X200B. In my trans view as a trans person browsing the trans internet, it seems kinda obvious what the issue is here. Today I fucked up by hooking up with a straight guy. Today I fucked up by hooking up with a straight guy. Fix the title for you op. As a fellow Brazilian, I'm surprised to know people still use Bate Papo UOL for hookups, or anything at all. I thought the place was dominated by pedos and horny weirdos, to be honest. That's a very sad story. That highlights to me the importance of realizing your feelings and coming out towards whatever they may be. As a man that just recently came out, one of my biggest fears was going through life in the closet, getting into a relationship with a woman as a form of denial, and possibly having children. This is completely unfair for the involved party. I hope your new friend is able to come to terms with what he may be dealing with in a healthy manner. It sounds like a very good thing that you were his first. Somebody else may have reacted poorly. You are clearly a good guy. I'll see. I absolutely love Brazil and hope to travel there again one day. Okay, let me get this straight. So the water from the jet went up his ass? I didn't know that was possible. Man, it's a sorta wholesome story, but helping a father cheat on his wife, that's a no from me, dog. Today I fucked up by looking up husband's estranged son. My husband married at 18 because the girl was pregnant. Right after the baby was born, she confessed the baby may not be his. He left her and took care of them financially until he met me. He said she had to sign divorce papers and DNA test if she wanted to keep receiving money from him. She made sure my husband didn't have any contact with the kid. Every time he requested DNA test, she disappeared with the kid, so he never made efforts to have a relationship with him. I know it's none of my business, but I still decided I should look him up. He turns 18 this month and I am really curious. I did find his social media, but the last post was 4 years ago. Looking up his family social media, I found out there's no mention of him since 2018. No pictures, no tags, no mentions at all of him after 2018. His grandfather currently has cancer and there's a lot of activity about that from the whole family, but the kids know we're around. Husband's ex changed her profile picture that year to one of those black ribbons you put when someone dies, which makes me believe he may be dead. I told husband about this and he decided to hire a lawyer to investigate. He clearly looks affected by this. Worst thing is, the kid looks exactly like my husband. There's really no denying it's his child. Every time I touched the subject in the past, he would be very defensive, always telling me it's none of my business. Now husband is angry at me and really affected by the whole situation. Too long did not read. I looked up my husband's estranged son and turned out he may be dead. Husband is angry because he says it's none of my business. He's right, but I was really curious. Edit. Yes, I understand completely IFU, there's no question about it. Just to clarify some things I've seen in the comments. We have been together 14 years. She provided divorce but no DNA test, so he did give her some money over the years, but not a set amount like child support. She stopped asking for money years ago. I had to tell him because I couldn't keep this from him. I don't like lying. It was only the search. I didn't ask for documents or hired someone to look him up, but my husband will. Death records are public record. Call the town clerk in the town he last lived and ask if they have a death certificate on file. They usually request a date of death, but you can give them a range between 2 years. I'm on the side that's neither defending nor attacking your choice. In life, some wounds should stay closed, some wounds need to be reopened. I don't know your husband or how he behaved. If he got emotional, he cared. If he cared, which is proven by sending a lawyer, he might have wanted some kind of closure but closed himself up to the possibility of it ever happening. I hope this can be resolved peacefully, with no ill blood involved. I can understand being curious and even bringing it up at some point, but why keep pushing it and then tell him you think the son is dead? Seems needlessly hurtful. Look up obituaries in that area. Year with his name, something might crop up. This is exactly the drama you went looking for. Enjoy. It's her husband, not her boyfriend. That means something. There aren't a lot of walls and history you get to stow away from your partner with that distinction. I'm not justifying anything either way, but it's something they had talked about before, and it was an innocent Facebook search that uncovered something devastating. She wasn't hiring a pie and stalking people. I've read too many TIFUs now. My brain read the title as, hooked up with husband's estranged son. Every time I touched the subject in the past, he would be very defensive, always telling me it's none of my business. Then just leave it. You sure did fuck up. Today I fucked up by beating a nerd at chess. This guy I've been friends with is pretty cool. His name is David, and looking at him you'd think he was a Revenge of the Nerds reject. He even wears those tannish khakis nerds are stereotyped to wear, and he's never seen without his glasses ever. Total nerd out type of person. Anyway, David invited me over his house to drink and play chess. We got a little tipsy, and that's when David told me he wants to play chess, so I did since I'm into it. He beat me once, then the second time I beat him. I said something to him that pissed him off, but I can't remember exactly what he said. All I know is it was pretty petty. Next thing I remember is him throwing the table, jumping on me, and then having his legs wrapped around my neck choking me. Couldn't breathe at all and I must have been conscious for a couple minutes. He just wouldn't let go no matter what I did. I ended up passing out and waking up on the floor with him trying to pour water over my face to wake me up. He said he's sorry as hell, but I fucked up getting drunk, beating him at chess, saying some stupid shit to him that I don't clearly remember, then him freaking out at me. Too long did not read. Beat a nerdy friend at chess. He got pissed. I was drunk so I said, did some stuff to piss him off even further. He ended up choking me with his legs till I went unconscious and now I have bruises all over my neck. Won a game of chess and got beat up? Sounds like you're the nerd. This smells like a shitpost. Lol. I kinda think that your fuck-up is how in your post you're trying to rationalize your friend's shocking behavior and accepting responsibility for it. Are you still drunk? Open mouth smile. Dude. Get it together. Your friend is entirely at fault here. Man. Fuck David. He's a piece of shit and abuser. Call the cops on him, no joke. He blamed you for him choking you out. He could have killed you, bro. You're not taking this seriously enough. Sounds like assault. There is nothing you did to warrant such a reaction. Regardless of what you said. Dude seems unstable to choke you to the point of unconsciousness. How do you know he stopped when you lost consciousness? He could have kept going. You could have died. Getting more creative, I see. This guy was a nerd. I mean such a nerd. Oh my gosh, what a nerd. He dressed like a nerd, looked like a nerd, did nerd things. Have you ever seen a movie about nerds? This nerd looked like those nerds. We're talking nerds. Anyways, I said something, I don't remember what, and he attacked me. Cool storytelling. Yeah. Your only mistake here would be remaining friends with someone who clearly has issues with emotional regulation. That's borderline attempted murder. Take pictures of your neck and, if I were you, I'd report him to the police. What's going to happen if he has a few too many drinks and his date says, no, to him? Today I fucked up by losing a $60K per year job offer by sending the boss a GIF of George Costanza from Seinfeld. About a month ago I left my job managing a kitchen because of the restaurant owner's abusive, gaslighting behavior. I was making $17 per hour, not bad for how easy the job was. Upon leaving and starting my job hunt online, I quickly realized how great my resume was, or how desperate restaurants are for skilled employees, when I began to receive offers from $40–50K to run operations at several higher-end places around the city. Where I live, that is a very decent paycheck and can buy a comfortable lifestyle, much more than I've ever made in my 30 years on this earth. Needless to say, it felt good to be able to turn down a few offers and explore the higher-paying ones. I receive a text one day from the owner of a nice place in town, asking if I can interview that day. I tell him of course, noon sounds good, looking forward to meeting you, blah blah blah. At 11:30 a.m. I accept a job offer from someone else for $40K a year managing new spot in town. Not wanting to burn bridges, I shoot the noon interviewer a text explaining that I had just accepted an offer and thanking him for his consideration. His reply stopped me dead in my tracks. That's a shame. Needed someone to manage our kitchen, start 60 kelvins with benefits. I nearly shat myself. Nobody has ever offered me that much to do what I do. Our previous exchanges seemed friendly enough, and he seemed like a seasoned kitchen guy himself, so I figured a little humor couldn't hurt. I found a GIF of George Costanza from Seinfeld turning his head around and raising his eyebrows in a, "You said how much?" kind of way. However, the universe has its own sense of humor. Upon pressing send, feeling very pleased with myself, I instantly knew I had a major foo on my hands. The GIF didn't move. It was frozen due to my inability to wait for it to fully load before saving it onto my phone. He received a picture of George Costanza just standing there facing away from the camera. No context, no explanation, just the image of George standing there with his back turned. 10 minutes go by. I make the bold decision to break silence first, and not acknowledge the image at all. My sweaty fingers type out, "I can be there by 2?" To which he says, "I'm pretty busy today." I tell my friends about it later and they are choking laughing at the screenshot I saved of this absolute rollercoaster of stupidity. I did not get the job. I did get similar offer for a better fitting position a few days later at a very nice establishment close by, and I love my job. But the screenshot lives on for laughs and I think about it at least once a day still. TLRI ruined all chances at a high-paying job by sending the boss a broken GIF of George Costanza, which ended up just being a still image of him facing away from the camera, making things very awkward indeed. GIF. Giphy, 307 TKRLJ 21 AKBDCXC. Bro. Why did you just leave it at that for 10 minutes without saying anything if you realized you sent it right away? All you had to do is say, "Whoops, sorry, not sure why that sent." The real foo was accepting a job offer at 11:30 a.m. when you had another interview lined up at noon. That, or not just going to the noon interview, even after accepting the first offer. Sounds like he said that only to make you feel bad once he knew that you had accepted elsewhere. He didn't interview you because he had no intention of paying 60 kelvins. Sounds like you dodged a bullet. Sounds like the jerk store called and they ran out of him. Why would you accept a position at 11:30 if you had an interview at noon? Especially if it was for 40K, when you were already getting offers for 40-50K. You didn't think it might be worth waiting for 3 more hours? You can't tell the company, "I will decide by Thursday." I mean, if they really want you, it's not like they can't wait 2 more days. Thanks for describing the hilarious screenshot, and how funny it was. I didn't want to see it anyway. GIF. Giphy, FDRMRMKD 994 PW.